Hello and welcome to the Chicane Podcast, where we discuss all things in the sim racing world. I'm your host, Jason Rivera, and I'm joined here by Mr. Eric Kelly and Jeff Smart. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great, man.
Hey, great to see you guys again.
All right, welcome back. So today we have 3 topics that we're going to talk about. We might have a bonus topic added on today if we have some time. So the first topic we're going to cover is on the current F123 game, because the new F124 game is slated to be released at the end of May. Then we're going to go into Jeff's thoughts on the new F124 game, and then we're also going to cover the Fanatec situation that I'm calling, because there's a lot of news and a lot of articles and a lot of updates that are happening daily. So we want to give everyone a brief summarization of what's going on with that situation. So with that said, we're going to walk this into the first topic, and I'll hand this over to Eric.
Yeah, man. So if you guys don't know, Jeff is our resident F1 expert, a fan of all things F1. Got on his Mercedes hat right now. And we want to start out by asking Jeff what your thoughts are on the current F123 game. Like, if there's anything that you like. I personally want to know things you like about it and things you're hoping that they fix, like issues with it.
Yeah, so I got in, as previously noted, got into sim racing for F1. And F123 is, I believe, the only licensed F1 game where you can actually jump in Verstappen's car, Lewis Hamilton's car, with the Mercedes and the Red Bull livery on it. So you can do it other ways, through some modding and stuff. But F123 by EA Sports is the only one that you can just jump in and race. Yeah, so I like it. A lot of people give it a hard time that it's a Simcade. It is. No argument here. It might not be as polished driving simulator as your Assetto Corsa Competizione or ACC or some of the other ones. The physics is probably where it's really not eye to eye with some of those other high end sims that I just kind of alluded to. But I think the graphics are good. A lot of times people are, they might be a little bit oversaturated, but they're good. It's awesome. I mean, you for what it is a Simcade, and I'll be honest with you, I drive it. I enjoy it. I have a great time. I think the multiplayer and the F1 world portion of that game is awesome, where you can jump in there and do time trials. You can do, a short Grand Prix. You can do, situations where, you have 5 laps left to go and it's raining. There's a whole bunch of different things, and there's a decent online platform where you can race other people. If I want to jump in, in Hawaii, the time zones don't really match up, but I can jump in and get a race, and that's not kind of easy, with all the other
That's
platforms.
a good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point.
But I am going to go down somewhere here, and I know you guys know where I'm going with this, but there is no mouse for F123. Come on, we put a man on the moon like 40 years ago, and we can't get a mouse on a PC game.
Crazy.
Come on, EA. Like, come on.
And how many games? They're on their 23rd game, Jeff.
Dude. I like to
theoretically 23. I don't know how many games. I mean, I might need a fact check, but come on, dude.
They made enough to know they need a mouse in the game. I'll tell you that. I enjoyed real F1 seasons going on. Like a couple weeks ago, they were in China, and it's cool. I can jump in and through doing the F1 season in the F123. I can do China that week. So I'm doing, Monday after work, I jump in there and do some my FP1, free practice 1, FP2, and FP3. And then throughout the week, I'm getting in there and I do my qualifying. And I can knock out I think I do like a 1/3 length race in China. And then I can jump in on Sunday morning and watch, my Mercedes underdeliver and underperform.
Well, wait a minute now. I'm
on
gonna
the
butt in
actual
there.
race.
I'm gonna butt in there. We had a sprint quali race in China, and who was number one, Jeff? Who was number one?
Hey, the Mercedes is leading the way on that one. Don't get to say that very often, but
Lewis
it was nice
Hamilton
to see.
specifically was number one. P1,
Yeah,
at least in the quali.
Yeah, so from that perspective, it's an awesome game. Like I can learn the track at the same time that George Russell is doing FP1 in the same track. So from that perspective, it's awesome.
That's a great point. That is a great point. Because you can learn the turns, because you know how the turns feel. You know how they enter. Speed that goes into the turns, and while you're watching the actual race, you're kind of like, oh wait, he should be in third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. What gear is he in? And you can kind of compare your lap times to theirs and see what they're doing. Can I carry third? Yeah. Can I carry fourth gear?
Adds a little bit more to not the immersion, but like you're going on the tour on the season with the actual F1 crew.
Yeah,
right.
That's cool. That's the ultimate immersion. Like literally, like you can watch the race and say, "Yeah, I just came from running that, going around those turns and all that stuff." So I never thought about that. That's cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little better too when the pros, go do track limits, and I'm doing track limits on the same corner. So it makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So with that, with the complaints about F123, I know one of the things you're looking for in F124, mouse support. Is there anything else that you're looking forward to in F124 that you've either heard about or is on your wish list?
Yeah, not holding my breath on the mouse. Acknowledged. I think what I think we're really looking for is just more of the driving experience to get it, raise it up a bar to get a little bit closer to the Assetto Corsa Competizione, just your ACC, when it comes to realism. Watching some of the videos on YouTube, I think we're getting a little bit of it. I think EA is releasing maybe what they want at this point, keeping their cards close to their hand a little bit. But time will tell. Time will tell. I'll be transparent. I'm going to get it because I'm an F1 guy. It is what it is.
Time will definitely tell.
Time will tell, right? I think that they are maxing out that engine that they have. I forget what it's called. The engine that they're using for their.
That is a good point. That's a great point. They are. They've been using the same engine for years.
Yeah,
they haven't changed over. One of them is Frostbite. I'm not sure if they're using the Frostbite. We got to look that up. To help out Jeff here, because I know he wants this, is proper triple screen support. Because right now we're staring at a freaking stretched out image, and it just hurts my head to look at. You know what I mean?
That's painful.
Yeah, 100%. Like
they pretend like it's triple screen support, but there is no full fidelity there like the other Sims.
Yeah, valid point. No argument. Concur, no comments.
Yeah, because the F124 game, as Eric and I discussed in the past, they're talking about physics and tire models and suspension models, and I'm like, all this information that's written on a single piece of paper, that's all this information that's written on a single piece of a single article on a document. But can you show that to me? Can you make me feel? Can I feel that in my hands, or are you just going to shake the camera around like I mentioned before to make it seem like the damn suspension? Because the thing is, when you race on other simulators, when you get on other sims, you feel everything that the car is doing. The F1 game, it's not all the way there. And I think Jeff can talk to you more about that, is what I'm saying, is the weight. I can't tell how heavy these cars are because it's just dead. You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're turning a wheel and the wheel is fixed at a certain weight, and that's it. You drive this cars on ACC. We talked about that, elevation and stuff like that. The car feels significantly lighter in the air. when it's coming up the hill, vice when the car is completely slammed on the front and the suspension is loaded. I can feel the dampening effect big time in my hands.
Yeah,
you know
Jason, you bring up a good point. Like when you're coming in hot into a corner, driving the McLaren, 720 and ACC into a corner, like you can feel the weight of that car trying to get stopped. And I think you hit the nail on the head there that it's just not to the fidelity that those other sims are. I think we're getting there. It's almost like that EA is putting, the window dressing on and nice shingles and siding, but it's just not a solid foundation.
Right.
If that analogy makes any sense.
No, and again, I don't mean to bring this up again. We'll summarize that, but I'm really upset because I'm a fan, and this podcast is not to bash EA. If EA is listening, sorry. But, I care about the sim racer. I care about the people that put money into this hobby and want to have a good experience, but then it's getting ruined by, false advertisement, false promises. You promised us, you've been promising us a better driving experience every single year this game comes out, and it feels almost identical. I think 23 was the first game that finally changed the physics since F118. And I was talking to Jeff about this the other day, and I was like, Jeff, he was complaining about F123 and how it you wish it was more realistic. And I was like, dude, you have no idea how we got here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was talking about in the previous episode on it's a good time to come into the hobby now because things are kind of leveling out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, I got one more update for people. I believe we're getting new maps, rescans of Spa, maybe Silverstone, maybe a handful of other tracks. I think maybe Abu Dhabi has a rescan of some updates that the track in real life now will have in F124. So excited to see that. Yeah, and I guess this is kind of turning into maybe a little bash session on EA, but they are moving the ball forward here. They are doing some good updates to the F1 experience in the sim world. So excited to see those.
Yeah, I'll say that's definitely what not having any competition does to you, though. For real, if they're the only ones with the license, they're the only game that you can hop into Verstappen's car or Lewis Hamilton's car. They're just like Madden, just like NBA. Well, not like the NBA, but I mean, at a certain point, they're just making money. They know people are going to buy it because they like F1. And like you were saying, Jason, if you're concerned about the sim racer, EA definitely is kind of lax on their laurels, man.
Yeah, it's almost like a sprinkle effect. You have a bag full of sprinkles, and every year I just throw a few rocks on there because there's no one else selling ice cream. You know what I'm saying? There's no one. Yeah. There's no competition. Who's making F1 games? iRacing. Yeah. iRacing is a beast. It's not. They have formula cars. They have one licensed formula car, and it's the Mercedes. But it's their old car. They don't even get the new ones. They're using the same. I think it's the 22 version. It is now.
Yeah.
Or the W.
I know there's a handful of other mods that you can do for other sims.
Right.
I think AMS2. I know Assetto Corsa has a couple mods, but again, like the multiplayer, the
music,
the F1 world, the music,
announcer,
you
the
get
career mode. You don't have any of that. You know what I'm saying?
So I do. That is cool. I do enjoy that.
Right. Okay. So, well, we are coming really close to the release of this game, and we will definitely be revisiting that because as much as I hate to say this, I support the community, and the game I own the game, the new one. It's in my queue. And I think Jeff.
Same here.
I think Jeff joined me on that path. So
patiently counting down.
All right.
Yeah.
So Jeff, with that said about F1, we'll come back to it, and it's perfect because your equipment is here now, and you're installing and you're tweaking, and hopefully get that good to go for the new F124 game when it comes out. And with that, you're getting rid of your Fanatec gear and
I
for
am.
some Simcube stuff. For not Simcube, sorry.
Yep,
Sim Magic.
Yeah, I got my pedals in. Still just waiting on some mounting hardware. But
Right.
I'm going to change gears a little bit here and kind of talk with the. You can't have a sim racing discussion without the gorilla in the room. Here is the Fanatec situation.
The Fanatec situation is up next. But before I hit that topic, before we start that topic, I have to give it up to Mr. Eric Kelly. Mr. Eric Kelly just purchased a brand new 80/20 rig. We need to cover that. It needs to be said right now. I'm staring at it. I can see it in the background. I want to know the details. And then we'll hit up that Fanatec situation there, Jeff.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like Jason said, just bought and like a kid at Christmas, ripped open and put together my first 80/20 rig. Nothing crazy, but it's really a sign of the times. I already had a rig that I had built, my poor man's rig, with a seat off a Honda Civic and some plans that I found on YouTube with some 2x4s that I put together. And that was fine for my G29. But once I upgraded to the Sim Magic Alpha with the 15 millimeter wheel and P1000 pedals, my poor little wooden rig was it was coming apart. So I got an 80/20. I got one from American Sim Racing. It is the ASR1. And this company was newer. I hadn't really heard about them. But once I did some research, and they had a pretty good reputation. They definitely have a smaller footprint. They're shipping out of Canada. And some of the things that really impressed me, their entry point for their rig, this one was $379 out the door, right? No tax, no shipping. I ordered it week before last, and it got here. When did it get here? Like that Friday, I think. And so, like, shipping time was great. Cost
for
was
the
great.
For the lower 48, shipping is great.
Yeah.
I think Jeff can touch on that.
and I was gonna say, and even depending on where you're ordering from, looking at, like, I wanted the Evo from SimLab, but shipping on that was going to be $200 plus. And so, just like with the time frames and stuff, I knew I didn't want anything too crazy. So when I found them, it was kind of a godsend, and put it together, and it's rock solid. It's, like I said, it's an entry level rig, but it doesn't come with the seat brackets, doesn't come with the shifter mount, but it's 80/20, so you can add that stuff on later. Which, and once again, shout out to Jason, because I was kind of getting distracted by some of the glitz and glamour of the the tube rigs and stuff. They look cool and all of that.
Man. Almost got him, Jeff.
Hey, that track
they were close.
So the Alpine edition, man, with the blue.
With that blue, huh?
Yeah, but
that you can't put anything, that you can't attach anything that's not proprietary.
Yeah, no way. So there was some mods, because it's round tube, you can get little clamps and clamp stuff on there. But the biggest thing was the rigidity and just the ecosystem. Right?
Flex, man.
There's some things you can add, but once you go 80/20, it's like just the world opens up to you, and it doesn't matter what level of 80/20 you have.
Oh my God! And stay off Etsy. Etsy.com.
Yeah, I hadn't been on there yet, but I'm already thinking about stuff.
Oh my God! I need an Etsy credit card, bro. Like a freaking rewards. I would be. Yeah. I put so much damn money into Etsy. I don't know, Jeff. Hey, man, Jeff could talk, man. About.
Yeah, I wish I never found it.
Yeah,
I need to buy my own 3D printer so I don't have to buy that stuff.
Bro, if you just type in 80/20, for all you listeners out there, just go to Etsy.com, put 80/20. You're going to have like 100 pages of stuff, cell phone holders, shift mounts, all kinds of things. Yeah.
Eric, have you
I need one of those.
You spun any laps yet on the rig, or are you still dialing it in, getting it set up?
Nah, I've taken it around some laps, and for me, I'm in VR, so the immersion is crazy. And I was asking you about the haptic motors because I'm at the point now where the braking feel, I'm not getting anything there, still numb. It's a lot better because I can, use more muscle memory because I have the higher force brake pedal, but I need some sort of feedback, from the pedal, just a vibration or something to let me know kind of what the ABS is doing,
Right.
or
Yeah, Eric's talking
just a little
about
more.
the haptic motor that goes on top of the brake pedal that
Yeah,
warns you about ABS when you touch ABS. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
I
I
got
need that.
5 laps on, maybe 5 or 6 as I installed it yesterday or the day
Very
before.
recent. Yeah, man.
And
Oh yeah.
very, very nice. It adds another level of immersion, but also helps with lap time for sure, because you can every time hit to that level
Yeah.
of where the brake is right before ABS. So I'm a big fan of it. So
Right.
Yeah.
And I want to cut in there, and I do this a lot. I'm sorry. But ABS settings with that mount, with those motors, just be mindful. If you're running, I'm going to use ACC as an example. If you put the aggressive setup on ACC, it's going to set, if I'm talking McLaren here, it's going to set your TC and ABS to 6. So that means that there's a level, there's a different threshold to how much braking power is allowed. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if I keep my ABS set at 6, then my haptic motor is going to trigger way faster than what it would if it was set low. And the thing is, you want to set it low. I know it's harder to drive like that, but you need as much stopping power as you can control. Essentially. So.
Yeah.
And
That
again,
makes
that's
sense.
another topic that we can go over is settings and brake pressures and different brake ducts and different brake pads. Definitely, that's a lot of stuff we can touch on later, sim specific, because if you're playing GT7, that might not be
Mhm.
the case in GT7. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah, they got different pads and brake setups you can add on depending on the car. Some of the race cars, they come default with carbon ceramics and racing pads and stuff, so you don't get to modify much. But you can do your brake balance. You can do ABS and
TC.
TC on some cars, but nothing like ACC though. That's
Right. ACC is kind of like
yeah.
they have TC cut, which I never use, and it depends on the car too. But yeah, Eric, I definitely want to revisit. I want to give you some time on that rig, and then we'll ask for your long-term feedback, or maybe a month with the rig, and see what you find, because everything is great when it's brand new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything works when it's brand new, and I just want to make sure when you start putting that thing and installing all the stuff on it, then we'll revisit how that's performing and how it's holding up, if you may.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm already in my head. I do VR a lot, and I'm kind of looking over like maybe it'd be nice to mount a monitor up there. Give me some
Right.
other options and see
Of
see how
course,
it goes.
you're curious, because now you open the door. You basically
hey,
Yeah,
open the gate, bro.
just quit
yeah.
delaying
I
the
got you to
inevitable
blame.
and buy the haptic. It's going to happen sooner or later. That's
Oh,
why I
that's coming.
justify it. I'm going to happen eventually, so I might as well just do it now.
Yeah, the haptics are coming
Yeah,
for
just go and
sure.
buy it, man. I'll send you the links.
I mean, I'm basically gonna I already know
Just
I'm gonna
buy it,
max
bro.
out
Stop it.
those
Just buy
pedals because I want the uh not the gas but the pneumatic
The
throttle
hydraulic
and
brake.
brake. Yeah, the
Oh, the
hydraulic.
hydraulic add-on.
Yeah,
I would tell
those
you
and the
this.
haptics.
I would
Yeah,
do the haptics before I did the hydraulic.
yeah.
Full
As far
stop.
as racing goes, the the haptics will be much better. The hydraulics, they say, makes it feel more natural, but as far as like increasing any sort of speed or feedback, the haptics are really the only main upgrade.
All right. Well, Eric, so we're going to move into, I want to hear more. I want to hear what you decide on that. So please,
Yeah,
and don't
I'll let you
spoil
know.
it. We want to put this on the Chicane podcast right
Yeah, I'll save
here.
it.
And yeah, save it. So with that, we're gonna give this back to Jeff, and Jeff's gonna update us on the Fanatec situation. So, Jeff, the floor is yours.
All right, so I'm going to jump in and just kind of where we are today with the Fanatec situation. Maybe we'll get into how we got here, but anyway, Fanatec this past week was bought out by Corsair. They produce a lot of peripheral information. Eric, I know you have a lot more information on the things that they produce and sell. But I think this is hopefully a breath of fresh air for the community. Fanatec started to get a really bad reputation in the customer service lane, and that kind of turned a lot of people off. A lot of people jumped in on some Black Friday deals that they had, and I'll be transparent. I'm not sure everybody got their shipment still, and here we are, May. When you send an email to customer support and they say, "Hey, we're backed up. We'll get to you when we get to you." I'm sorry.
You're talking thousands
I'm sorry,
of dollars.
guys. That's unacceptable. I mean, I'll give you 48 hours, but an email to at least just say, "Hey, we got it. Just give us a second." So I'm excited for as a somebody that enjoys sim racing and want to bring people in. Fanatec is a good jumping off spot for a lot of people, or a jump in, like myself. So I want to see them still in the arena. I don't want to see them go under. I'm excited that Corsair bought them, and hopefully they can turn it around. But what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll say this. Being somebody who recently had to make the decision between Fanatec and somebody else, that was a major turnoff for me. I was willing to risk the shipping times, but when I got in the forums and saw people who, after they got their Fanatec gear, were talking about the woes they had with customer service, I'm like, you can't suck on both ends, right? It can't take forever to get here. Then if it gets here, if there's something that's not quite right, it's taking months for you to address that. I'm not. There's no advantage at this point, right? It'd be different if they were significantly cheaper or something like that. I'm paying,
or there was a deal or something.
Yeah, like I'm paying top dollar to be locked into the Fanatec ecosystem, which is already they have some poor business practices with that QR stuff. The way that works, that's already a headache. There's no motivation for me to choose Fanatec over something else. And with them going to Corsair, hopefully they can address at least the customer service issues, maybe by taking advantage of Corsair's customer support infrastructure. But they've got to accept what's happening in sim racing, which is there's a lot more competition. They just have to be more open.
Right.
They have to allow their products to play with others. That's just how it is.
Right. And my take on this is Fanatec has the name. Fanatec sponsor. Everybody knows Fanatec. Mm-hmm. I don't understand why they're letting this happen. They fired their CEO, got fired. Okay, you fired the CEO. Now you just basically turn the company over to a bigger company, which is good. It's good that the brand will continue. But my concern when you were buying gear, Eric, was warranty. How do we know that Fanatec is going to still be here when things break down? Nothing is perfect. Nothing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Things break, stuff happens, mishaps, whatever it is. You want something that you want to get in, you want to trust, a company that you can rely on, you know what I'm saying? And not be in these, them being in the financial problems doesn't affect us as sim racers. But then when it's affecting the core of the company, then it does. It affects all of its users. So with the warranty issues with Fanatec, it might affect some users that bought into a DD2 that comes with a 5-year warranty with Fanatec. So how does that transfer? Does it transfer to Corsair? Does it go away? Are they going to make them pay shipping? There's a lot of questions that are unanswered with this company and the future of these products. We don't know, because Corsair doesn't make sim racing equipment. They don't know anything about it. So what they did was they basically transferred Fanatec from Endor, which Endor is the actual owner, or it was, to Corsair. So I'm hoping that quality and products and, I hope it gets better is what I'm trying to say, especially for those on the console. And what about the software side of things? They have a big software team that are keeping these devices up to date. Where does that end up? There's a lot of unanswered questions, and that's how come we're bringing this up. Yeah.
I mean, from a Fanatec user, and something that really kind of turned me off to the whole situation is the customer support. Don't make me just a number, a random person out there. Like if I need to get in touch with somebody, it shouldn't take 3 months to get back from an email. So I'm hopefully optimistic that a bigger company will have better support. I've heard horror stories out there on some of the Reddits and Facebook groups about this stuff when it comes to the Fanatec things. People no idea when their stuff's going to ship. Don't even know if they have a shipping or a order confirmation, but no, it's just out there in the ether whether they are going to get their stuff or not. You can't do that in today's day and age. Exactly. You got to provide that customer support in the backbone. So hopefully Corsair will help provide that.
And transparency. Why is it
100%
that I go on Fanatec.com, add something into my cart, and it says that it will ship in 1 to 2 business days? Why does it say that? And then
knowing it won't.
And then they take your money. They will straight up take your money from your credit card, send you an email that says, "Oh, hey, your stuff's shipping out next month."
And another, when I bought my stuff, when it got delivered,
transparency.
I get everything but the QR amount in one shipment, and then 3 days later, I get the QR in a different shipment. You're like, come on.
That's a true story right there.
Come on, man.
True story.
You got all this stuff sitting here, and you can't even use it. It just doesn't provide a polished product. Like my Simmagic stuff got here, all in a box, all ready to go.
Yeah.
The QR was installed, was it not, Jeff?
Yeah, just...
Yeah, man.
Why do you need a separate box for a QR? Come on.
You got one shipping from somewhere, and then that QR ships from somewhere else, totally different in the country. It's just not.
And you know what's funny, Eric? You know what's funny? The QR that Fanatec uses has no electronics in it, but the Simmagic has electronics in it. So the install is a lot more involved. With a Fanatec, they ship the wheel with the pins exposed and a cover. And you literally slide the QR over the pins. It's just an old system. It's outdated. They need to get their shit together. Straight up. They need to get their shit together.
Yeah, I don't know why. And to Jeff's point about, the transparency, I'm looking at SimLab right now at the GT1 Evo. And one of the things that I was able to factor into, not purchasing this one outside of the price is their transparency with the shipping. It says currently ships at 10 to 15 working days. That's fine.
Expectation management.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I already had a rig, that's something I can factor in. Okay, I'll buy it now. It'll be here in a month. That's
I'm still
okay.
waiting on these other parts. It'll all arrive relatively the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, but if this said 1 to 2 business days and it's 3 weeks and I still ain't got it, we got big problems.
Yeah.
Big problem.
And then trying to reach out to customer support, you're not hearing back. It just compounds the problems and the frustration.
Oh, you're throwing gas on the fire there,
Yeah.
Basically.
Jet fuel. Jet fuel. Take my money, break your promise, and then don't respond. Oh, we got big problems. Yeah.
So I guess kind of in summary of the Fanatec situation is we, the sim racing community, are hopefully optimistic, but holding our breath a little bit with what comes of this transition to Corsair.
And I want what I want all listeners out there to take out of this. This is not a bash podcast. We're not here bashing Fanatec. We actually want Fanatec to remain and we want it to improve. Yeah. We want sim racers to have the option if they want to go the Fanatec route, then they need to be involved. They need to be informed on what's going on with them before they make a purchase decision like that. Because when you go on the website, it's all beautiful. It's all great. Yeah. They have a builder. You could build a setup. They put it in there real nice for you, saying, you know what I'm saying? And they're not going to market that they sold their company and they're having hardships, Yeah. So,
but to your point, man, not bashing at all, but definitely holding people accountable.
Right.
For real.
Like well said. Well put.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the case. And like you said, we do need them to stick around. The more competition, the better. They're one of the OGs. They've kind of made, sim racing mainstream. I appreciate them and the work they've done to build up their reputation.
It's not all bad. No, it's not all bad.
No, we need them around. Awesome entry point into the sim racing.
Different options, just different options.
Yeah, hopefully, I think best case scenario, Corsair keeps pretty much the Fanatec business intact as far as the engineering and technical piece, and they just give them some resources.
Yeah, definitely on the financial side, big time.
Yeah, they'll need that. But let the engineers over there do what they do. They make good products. They got some funky business practices with the QR stuff, logistics issues, but the products are good products, though.
I agree. The quality of product that you get from Fanatec is pretty. It's very good. I want to say there's some things in there that are weird and it's old, and because the DDs that they're building now, they're actually, they caught up to the times. It used to be they had the DD1 and it was out for many years. Then they came out with a DD2 and it was the same old hardware. But they were good. They were good pieces of kit. It wasn't like you're spending this money and it's going to break down on you. You know what I mean? Yeah. The thing is, the chance of it breaking down on you, and now you have a company that you can't go to, is what we're worried about here. That's all.
Yeah. Well said.
Because like I said before, nothing's perfect. Nothing is set in stone. And with that, this is an evolving topic. Straight up, this is an evolving topic, and we will cover this as things unfold, because it's not. Trust me, this is not the end of the headlines for Fanatec. Not one bit.
Yep.
And with that, I think that's all the time we have for this week's episode. I'm gonna do a round table with the gents, with Jeff and Eric. Do you guys have anything else to add to the episode today?
No, man, I'm just about to jump on here and watch the F1 GP here, and tell everybody out there, drive fast and brake late.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, nothing here, man. Just hoping I have some time to hop on my rig and dial it in some more today.
I'm pretty sure you do, man. Come on.
I'll find a couple minutes.
You find a couple minutes, man. All good.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, thank you both for being here, and to all you listeners out there, stay tuned, man. It's gonna get juicy when these games come out and everything. When F1 24 comes out, we'll have way more content. Both of us are getting the game, and maybe Eric might jump in there with us. Who knows?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right now, man. I got F1 22, and I'll talk to you, Jeff.
We'll talk.
All right, buddy, I'm here.
We'll definitely talk. And with that said, thank you guys for tuning in, and have a great week.